I'm not interested in changing my past. I'm happy with my past, and my
Yeah.
past is what got me to today. So.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this broadcast of the Jeff Heilman Project. Great to see
What's up,
everybody
everybody?
this week. And before we get started, this is actually going to be a 2-part episode, so I'm super excited about that. And we'll get into what we're doing in a minute. But before we do, how was your week? And the big
Got me right at
yawn.
the big. How was your week?
Right?
Oh, it's good. This was a tough one because you were out of town for like 4 days.
Yes.
Drinking with your
Hey,
girlfriends.
there was
Vegas.
not much drinking
There was
going
no-
on.
You don't
There
drink
was
that
we
much.
had a
You
great
can't look
time.
like that and drink very much.
We had a great time. We stayed at the Paris Hotel and got to have caviar for the first time. That was really good. It
Yeah.
was actually surprisingly good and not fishy and just the right amount of salt with those little, it was served on a toast, like a brioche, a toasted brioche
They'll
toast.
usually do a toasted brioche.
Have you had
with
it
some,
before?
I have. We'd had it at the. We had it in New Orleans when we went to that.
Oh, that's right.
Not the Omni, but
So I have had it before.
yeah.
But
it's
it was good.
like so typically so covered in cream cheese with just like a little.
Yeah, this was one where they actually brought out the jar so you could apply it
Yeah.
versus it being pre-made on a cracker or whatever toast. And they actually, I didn't know this, but it's not properly served if it's not served with a gold-plated spoon because the stainless steel affects the flavor
taste.
and the
Yeah.
taste and everything. So
That's
if you're
true.
getting served caviar, make sure it's on a gold plate with a gold-plated spoon. Anyway.
Yes.
The next 2 episodes are going to be about we're entering into an election season. That we're recording this on the night of the debates.
We're actually recording the debates too.
There's not going to be a debate between my husband and I. We don't want to have any battles. But what we are going to talk about, I did a little research, and
What would we have a debate about?
Data says, according to the data, 36% of couples that are engaged go through some form of premarital counseling. Only 36%, so less than half. So, when you're looking at things like a debate and you're dating somebody and you're engaged, sometimes you think to ask like about politics and how they're voting. Sometimes opposites attract, and you just
would hope that you discuss these things
you would
before
hope so.
you get married.
Like I've been around enough that like we've talked and mentored.
How would you like
people.
to have your vote equals 0 for the rest of your life? No,
I mean, but like we've been, we've had enough mentoring sessions with couples where it's like they didn't even discuss before they got married how many kids they were going to have, like that they wanted to have, if they even wanted to have kids. These are questions that we try to have our kids, like when we're talking to them about who they're going to choose to date, like be on the same page. Sometimes people call it, being evenly yoked or whatever. So I thought it would be fun if we would play a little would you rather scenario. And I've got some would you rathers because I think I know which you would rather, but it'd be fun. And then for those of you that are at home that are also listening, watching, following along, maybe you and your spouse or your significant other can talk about what they would rather and just have some polite conversations go on through the rest of your listening pleasure or your evening. Okay, first one. Jeff, would you rather? I think I pretty much know the answer to this one, but
probably
for
know
the benefit
answer.
of our audience,
I'm a simple person.
Would you rather have a big house in the country? Now let's imagine like Bedford. No, I'm thinking like Ralph Lauren or Connecticut. Martha Stewart, big house in the country, or a studio apartment in the city. Okay, now imagine. I know, but if you could only pick one, and you would have a penthouse apartment in the city, or like Bedford, like horses and stables and fancy cars.
What I would probably do, I would probably take the country estate because the experience in the city can be had for far less.
Okay.
So you could get a room at the W Union Square or the Plaza for, let's say, $800 a night,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't get a farm for $800 a night.
Okay.
So yeah, for $25,000 a month, you could have the city experience either in a hotel where they wait on you hand and foot, or with a very nice 1-bedroom or probably 2-bedroom apartment.
All right.
So-
I thought you might go for the city, of course, because
I
you love
would
the city so
love
much.
to live in New York City. I have talked about living in New York City since my buddy Justin Sheen moved there after we sold our company to Cisco. He moved there in 2004, and I think he got an apartment for like $2,500 a month.
But I like the way you're thinking. That's very entrepreneurial, like
Yeah.
just like the cost
the farm,
of.
because Martha's Place in Bedford is
Mhm.
like $50 million bucks,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't need $50 million to have a walk up apartment or a nice hotel experience in the
Okay.
city.
All right.
So
So
a little
would you rather
probably.
change the past or predict the future?
I would rather predict the future for sure. Yeah, because you only have to be right 51% of the time.
I try to think about
what was that little journal in Back to the Future where you could bet on games?
But
that were
doesn't
gonna happen
changing
in the
your
future?
past affect your future?
I'm not interested in changing my past. I'm happy with my past, and my
Yeah.
past is what got me to today. So no, I wouldn't
Yeah.
change anything about
Okay.
the past.
All right. Hey, what about you at home? Would you rather change the past or
What
predict
about
the
you?
future? Okay, here's a good one considering.
Gum when I was 11.
Considering, I mean, I think that's a testament, though, that you've lived a pretty, that should be, you should pat yourself on the back a little bit there, that you've definitely, we all fall short and have made mistakes, but like, there's nothing so grievous in your past.
There's
that
nothing
you
I would
would
change
be
about my
like,
past. that I could think of.
100%,
No.
I'd go back and change
100%.
something.
I wouldn't change anything about my past. I'm happy with who I am, and I'm happy with who we are as people. And if there's anything that I could convey to our children, because that's what this podcast is really all about, is about creating a record of mom and dad or grandma and grandpa, whatever we are at that point, for posterity. That if there's anything that we could hand you on a silver platter through the internet webs, through time, it would be to feel good about yourself, just self-love, right? The will to meaning, the will to significance in your own life. And I don't think that's ego. We're reading a book right now called Ego is the Enemy. And I think he's taking a different position on ego than for me to say that you would have a will to meaning or a
No.
purpose in your
Yeah.
life. He's taken a really, I don't remember even know the name of the author. I just started reading it, but
Ryan Holiday.
Ryan Holiday wrote a book recently called
Ego is
the Enemy. And it takes a very interesting juxtaposition.
Well,
of,
from what we've, I have just started listening to it, but it would appear that the stance is to be all in all more neutral as you possibly can be,
dispassionate.
and recognize that
Yes.
it can be egotistical to talk about your trauma. Like people find
Oh
ego
my
in their
God.
trauma dumping. And then people also can find
No
ego
thanks.
in constantly celebrating the victories.
Yeah.
It's a mania either way.
Yeah.
And as we can become more centered and stoic towards our
we
ability or
went
inability,
to
then we can.
Pilates today. There's
Yes.
a Pilates studio that is walking distance, and I will remain dispassionate about Pilates. I like the way I feel when I'm done. I'm not sure
Yeah.
how I feel when I'm doing it, but
Right.
but I would remain dispassionate about Pilates.
So
That's an example of.
speaking of Pilates and having to wash your workout shorts
Oh,
before we went,
I don't know that we really need to bring up the
my point being,
cardboard box brown water
Yeah, that's-
from my workout shorts.
yeah,
that-
TMI.
Look, every couple years,
Every couple of years
They
you wash
should
your
be
shorts,
washed.
whether
That's
they
right.
need it or not. Oh my
it's
God.
like the comedian said. He goes, "Hey, this shirt is dry clean only, which means it's dirty."
So the question
I thought
is,
that was great.
the would you rather is, would you rather wear formal attire every day or sweatpants? Like if you didn't have a choice, like you had to dress to the nth every day, or you had to wear sweatpants and
So like Downton Abbey
mm-hmm,
or Adam Sandler.
pretty much.
Those are my choices.
There's your two choices.
I would probably go with Adam Sandler. It's not too far from how I dress every day anyway. I actually put lace-up shoes. Like these are
For
my
today's
nice.
podcast.
These are my nice
For
dress-up
those
Vans.
of you who are listening via Spotify and not watching
I am
on
wearing
YouTube,
a black
Mr.
V-neck
Heilman.
T-shirt by Marine Layer and stretchy stretch pants by Vintage or
Yeah, the
Vonage.
Amazon.
Yeah,
By Amazon.
by Amazon, along with some Calvin Klein black no
Socks
lookies. What are they called? No
and
lookies.
no-shows.
No-show socks, and
And
my
Vans.
bougie Vans. These are the bougie Vans, though. They have the thicker padding and like these are more than like normal skater Vans.
Well,
So
I
yeah,
think that
this
when
is- we're pretty
Madeline
dressed
and
up
I
right
went
now.
to Paris and had to get dressed every day, and it was just the way of living.
Oh, I can only imagine every day because otherwise you're going to be like, I don't want to look like a street rat.
Yeah, you definitely show your American. I mean, they thought we were French because we got
Because you
ready every day.
Got ready. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely, I mean, when you're in the metro and everybody's put together, it does not like whatever you imagine the subway in New York to look like, it's
Oh,
not.
I've seen the subway in New York, and that's definitely Adam Sandler.
Yeah, it's not the metro in Paris. It's definitely, we got, if Madeline said, I'm ready to go home because at least when I'm at home, I feel unique. I feel different because, it is rare to get dressed every day and to be dressed. And so when she puts on all of her makeup and does her hair, she gets a lot of attention because it's not per the norm here where we are. But
Yeah.
there she was
Americans
one
are
of the,
slobs.
she
most
was
of
one of
us.
the, so, I would think for me,
But we don't have a caste system here. That's the
know.
difference. In Europe, if you are, if you are anything, you get ready and you get dressed and you have nice clothes and you have your pressed shirt and you do
But
your
I
hair.
wonder how much of that is
It's
just
self-image.
because,
trying
yeah,
to-
exactly.
To
You
say like
higher
I'm
standards.
I'm
yeah.
upper class.
I don't know. I don't know.
Versus here, upper class is a T-shirt
Ripped up jeans,
with a band.
and the more
Yeah,
the more you look like
And an
you're
Apple
supposed to be on the
Watch.
beach.
yeah.
But
Basically, beachwear that's expensive.
yeah, I think that I would I can't leave. I don't like leaving the house without at least foundation and mascara on. Like I there's the 5-minute face, and I got to have that on before I leave.
Yeah.
I try not to wear my sweatpants, but we just came from Pilates, so I'm in my
You're
I'm
your
in my Lulus,
stretchies, stretchy Lulus.
but I do think that there's a time for me. I would probably pick more formal attire every day. Like if I had a walk-in closet that had, the bougie clothes, like racks of bougie clothes and
Yeah,
bougie shoes.
like some of your friends that you go see in Dallas.
If I had the closet and it was like, okay, so you can either have the closet and it's all like, boutique looking closet, or a closet of Lululemon and,
Well, that's not the
whatever the
same as
nicest.
dressing Downton Abbey.
Yeah, but whatever like if I could walk into a walk-in closet with like all the Athleta
Sure.
and Lulu, whoever, I'm sure you guys know like better even than Lulu. I don't even know.
Better than Athleta. We just don't know about it yet.
But if and it was like, okay, pick your dream closet, which would it be? My dream closet's going to be the one with the dresses and the pants and the shoes
See,
in
my
it.
closet would be the Lululemon and the nice, the bougie sneaker shoes.
Well,
and-
you also had to
bling
wear
and-
suit, like you went through your suits
yeah,
period.
I went through my suits period, and
having to,
those
like-
live in
Yeah.
cedar.
Yeah, having to wear dress shoes, and I mean it's definitely, especially like I'm the stay-at-home mom, so I've been in my stay-at-home
Yeah.
mom period,
Yeah,
and I'm
you
like
like to
ready
go out.
I'm like
Yeah.
ready to be in my suits,
I'm
and
ready to go
we
home and go to
flip-flopped.
bed.
We
Yeah.
flip-flopped. That's all there
Yes.
is to it.
We are flipping floppies.
Okay, so
I'm trying to think of all these things that we could do. So I got to hang out with my kids at the pool while Jessica.
that's a really good tip.
was-
You should
Yeah.
life hack.
By
that.
the
You
way,
should
there's a
encourage
life
them.
hack for dads who have kids while their moms are away, kind of their mom wife. While my mom wife was away, I went to the pool at it was a Holiday Inn, not the Holiday Inn Express. It was the Holiday Inn by the airport, and had a great time. There's an app we're not sponsored by Day Use, but there's an app called Day Use, which I'm pretty sure it's not for dads that have 3 kids who need a hotel in the middle of the day for like 6 hours, but that's what we used it for. And it was like $95. And I spent 3 times more on the Outback Steakhouse DoorDash run than I did the actual hotel. But the kids got to swim by the pool. It was Saturday. It was super hot. It was like the last trailing edge of summer. And Jessica's in Vegas for 4 days. And I'm like, I got to get something. I got to get my chill on. So we got this hotel for a few hours, went upstairs. We had a beautiful room for like an hour and a half so that we could nap. Andrew stayed here and worked on stuff, but Osh and Teddy and Ness came with me, and that was just, it was amazing. It was an amazing
so excited
experience.
to be able to go to Target and go get goggles.
We went, and what are the things that you throw in there with the
Sinkies?
Sinkies.
You gotta have your
I don't know what a
Sinkies.
Sinky is, but we do now. And I would throw, and she just kept going over and over. We'd throw the Sinkies into the pool, and I can't find it.
Well, you know, if you think of the cost of, because we've had both. We've had above ground pools, which I've had to do the chemicals and the filling of the water and that.
It works.
We've had
it does work.
in-ground pools. But like if you look at the cost, like even if you did, if you did a day use once a week, four times is only $400. $400. If you do once a week, that's cheaper than a pool. So.
Or even once a month in summer. You do it 2 or 3 times a month.
Yeah.
You do it 5 times in summer, it's $500. That's less than your pool costs.
That would be less than
we did that just in water,
I know,
redoing the water when you wanted to move the pool like 5 feet.
No, it was spilling. It was not properly installed. It was leaking. I had to refill it. Make sure your pools are level when you do the above ground pools. So there's one last question in the Would You Rather. For part 2, we're going to play another game, so stay tuned for that.
What did we do? We did New York.
We did city or country.
Okay.
We did past or predict the future. Formal attire or sweatpants.
Okay.
And then for this last, because there were 2. One was, would you rather make more money or have more time?
Okay.
You can answer that one.
Would I rather make more money or
have more time?
Well, if it's make more money than we're doing right now, I would rather make more money and have less time, because I know what making less money with more time would be, and that would be, suicidal.
Okay.
So
that's why I was like, man, we don't need to really
I'd like to have more
time.
money and more time. Everybody wants that, right? But at this point, I would take
Can you make more money if you have more time?
No.
You can't buy more time.
You can't buy more time, but if you make money based on the hour, you'll always run out. You have to make money based on leverage.
So the last question, and this is for those who are dating, may become dating, or would like to be dating. Knowing what you know now, would you rather have eloped or thrown a huge wedding? If you had some people that they're considering both. Christine, actually, my girlfriend Christine, who I went to Vegas with, wanted to elope. She wanted to do the whole, Vegas, but tasteful Vegas elope with her. But her husband was like, nope, we're Italians. We're going to have this big wedding. So he and her mom actually planned their wedding. She said, I want pink flowers and I want all the bridesmaids to have white. I want to do the reverse. That's my only request is I get pink flowers and everybody else gets white. And Mark and her mother planned their entire wedding because she wanted to elope. So I remember my dad offered me money and said, here, just take money and go elope. But I elected to have a wedding, and it was 150 people. And so, what would you?
If the money was the same.
Yeah.
It's 30 grand or it's 30 grand.
You got 30 grand either way. Would you go on
I think.
What would you do?
If I were getting married, or if one of my children was getting married.
Well,
because I'm not getting married again.
I know, but if you were going to get married, or if you were going to tell your kids. But see, I know us, we would give our kids options. Well, this is what you could do and it would be awesome. And this is what you would do and it could be awesome. Both are awesome.
I would nudge my children in the direction of a wedding.
I agree.
I think that it's a gift to give somebody a wedding and an experience, and to plan it and to fund it and to go through it. And it's a process of planning a wedding. I don't think there's anything wrong with eloping. I'm not judging anybody if you've eloped. But I think that there's something to be said for a public declaration of faith, a public declaration of your love for your spouse, and I think it cements the community coming together to be a part of that. We live in a time when, I mean, let's face it, we live in community with digital representations of people on our phone. And
There's something
we
to
had
be
a
said
friend
about ceremonies.
we had a friend. We had a wedding last summer for a very close friend, and it was very tastefully done at a money is no object level, and it was amazing. And it was a no phones please policy, and I thought it was very tastefully done. It was lovely, and it was something that I will remember the rest of my life, to be able to go to that area of the country and enjoy an amazing ceremony between two people who are committing their love to each other. Both of them had been married before. I don't think that takes away from the ceremony and the love of this couple, in my opinion. And so I would nudge my kids in favor of tradition and in favor of having a wedding.
And we have 7 of them, so they're just
Yeah.
consider that. I do too. I think there's something about having a ceremony. I think there's something about people, committing in front of people. You're almost committing together. When I went to Fiji with Mohini, and we went to her
that was like a
cousin's
month,
wedding.
right? Wasn't that a month long?
They get prepared. The Indian tradition is it's like months.
Yeah.
That the families come, they get the whole meeting of all the family, and then like the weeks prior to the actual date, and the whole, the spouse family coming and staying there. Like it's very tribal, and it's very united, and it's more than just a guy and girl getting married. It's the whole family gets married.
Yeah. So I would, in closing, I would say that I would go for that for the wedding, because it's social. And it binds you, I think, to the community that's going to be supporting you, and eventually going to be supporting your kids if you have kids, and bring it into this world. So thanks for being with us here
enjoyed this episode
at the Jeff
for
Heilman
part
Project
1.
on Debates
And
24
debate
date.
night. I hope that you guys have had something fun to talk about with your spouse or significant other, and stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to continue to talk about this
Might
or
be
that.
recorded in just a moment.
There you go. God
See
bless
ya.
y'all.